Okay, who is who? Who does he think he is? Okay, he's still torturing Ulti and Page One, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, who's who? You think he Kaido, right? And dog, all right, I presented this before, but Yamato is still watching all this go down, right? They were on the ground. Who's been throwing blades at Ulti? Yamato is watching all this go down. So here's my thing: Yamato has to step in because I think ultimately, who's who and Ulti, they start to follow Yamato as retainers or something like that, right? I think that happens. Reason being, right? Ulti and Page One, they were taken in by Kaido like his own kids. So technically, right? Yamato, Page One, and Ulti, they're siblings, right? I don't make the rules, okay? So Yamato, I think she's gonna help her siblings because it just makes sense. And then they start following her around. We love Ulti too much for her to be out of the story. So it would be great if Yamato gets her own retainers and she saves them, easy money. And who does he think he is? Stop it. Now to the chapter. Chapter starts out, Nami, she's just talking about what they just experienced, right? And she doesn't care who hears, right? I want to say this early. This chapter, you kind of feel the piracy for the first time in a long time from the Straw Hats. They feel like true pirates. Like, it's different when they're in hostile territory and they're trying to get out of there. They're just doing the right thing. This is not hostile territory for the most part. Shamrock and those guys are there, but this is not hostile territory. And they're the ones being hostile by going against the one thing they said not to do. But at the beginning, Nami's saying, yo, oh my gosh, we didn't get anything. And then she's mentioning Loki and diamonds. They're like, huh? And Rhoda's like, Nami, you gotta relax. All right, you gotta relax. At the end of the day, I know. But these people, they don't take too kindly to Loki. All right, you gotta chill. And I'm just like, bro, whatever, Rhoda, whatever. It's a very small part in the chapter, but it's the Treasure Tree tour group with Ripley and Frankie, and they're talking about how they live, where they live. And bro, the scale that they describe in regards to the tree is impossible. They said that they live on the branches of this tree. And when you think about how big giants are, not how big Loki is, how big is this tree? Like, this tree is gigantic, right? Which of course you start leaning towards because power-ups for the Sunny, right? The Atom Wood. But I'm like, yo, this tree, it has to have so much rich history, right? So that's what I was floored by. What, you live on a branches? Giants live on a branch. So I'm like, bro, there's no way. In my mind, there's no way this tree doesn't go all the way up. There's no way, right? Right? Or at least a piece of it. No, could be an alternate route into Skypiea, into one of the Sky Islands. I don't know. Why not? This is a large tree. Now, they stuck out where they talked about a branch that had to be cut off because it got struck by lightning. And Ripley points out, right? It was highlighted. Elbaf's biggest weakness is fire and lightning. And I'm like, right, I don't want to do the Enel thing, okay? I don't want to start thinking Enel is going to come. However, that's the first thought. But then the end of the chapter made me think of something as well. Stay tuned, because we know what the end of the chapter was. Peak ore, right? Not saying Loki is top 10 ore farmer in One Piece, but by the end of Elbaf, he might be. We'll get back to that. Now, we get to our scene with Ja Rule, Nami, Usopp, and Usopp is wasted out of his mind, right? He is done. And I love this version of Usopp. He's funny. He's aggressive, right? Either way, we're talking to Ja Rule. And apparently Ja Rule is into older women, which is funny because he's the oldest person we know. So who could be older than you? Now, there could be hints towards ancient deities, right? It could be somebody from past, right? Like Toki. I don't know if it could go somewhere with that, but it's something to think about. But Ja Rule says into older women. It's, more funny than anything. But it's like, okay. He basically says this because Usopp is damn near offering Nami to him. Like, this is our navigator. You think she's hot? I certainly do. Like, it's almost that, because he's slizzard, right? He's gone. And so Usopp is not only just different, but he's aggressive, right? So this dude Usopp, he slaps Ja Rule's blade. The blade that's stuck in his head, he smacks it. But it's in response to Ja Rule saying that he likes older women. He's like, no way you're gonna get any woman. You're the oldest guy in the world. He's like, yo, right? And Hyruden, he's like, yo, you don't touch his blade, bro. He's like, what do you mean? Shut up. What are you talking about? And again, he's gone. He's drunk. He's like, anybody want to try pulling out Excalibur? It's like, dog, can't do that. Oh, he's gonna die. Usopp had dying at this moment, bro. I like this version. I'm not gonna lie. Usopp maybe should be drunk more often. I'm not gonna lie, but typically, most people are a lot more fun when they're drunk. Not saying I am, maybe I am. But still, I like this Usopp. Brook is also done as well. Gotta mention that his head is literally falling off of his body. Like literally, of course. That's not a big deal because he's a skull. But Nami's like, yo, you can talk, because Brook is saying that Usopp is drunk. And she's like, yo, your head is on the ground, right? And then they're like, yo, you gotta let Usopp do his thing. This is his dream to come to Elbaf. So he's gonna have a good time. And Jinbei's just sitting back like, now of course Sanji, his spidey senses are tingling. Spidey senses for women. He's like, yo, where's Gerd? Where are the titties at? Right? Where's Gerd? Right? Well, I want to know where Gerd's at. Flash to Gerd. Gerd's talking to Road. Like, what's going on? These guys had bones broken. Like, what's going on? Road is like, bro, I don't know. Shout out to Road, because he was actually trying to like not say anything. He's trying to protect the stride, trying not to give up the deets. But Gerd smacked the heck out of him. He's like, all right, man, I don't know what y'all want me to do. I gotta tell her the truth. So now we go to our boy Loki. And Zoro and Luffy, they're there. I'm shocked Nami didn't go with them. I guess Nami was there to just give him an alibi. They go back to the realm of the dead, and Loki's there, and it looks like he's been attacked. Luffy's like, well, he wasn't like this the last time I saw him. And they're giving us even more context in regards to his size, saying he might be as big as oars. So we knew Loki was big, but the sheer size and scale is insane. I mentioned Loki's size earlier and living on the tree branches. Loki is enormous. And again, another great Zoro moment, right? Fantastic Zoro characterization here, where again, he's telling Luffy like it is and not just being a yes man. He's saying, okay, Luffy, let's not open the cuffs yet. Let's just think about it for a second, because we can't have a guy like this rampaging loose. Like, I think once Zoro got to him, seeing the sheer size and honestly feeling some of the aura, he's probably like, okay, all right, Luffy, let's think about this for a second. And checking Luffy, saying, yo, make sure we know what we're doing now. Luffy's like, bro, what are you doing? You came all the way here to lecture me? But W right hand, even landed a kick. Mind you, this is Zoro, not Sanji. Landed a kick on Loki just to make sure that he's still awake. And, he's like, dang, I guess the wounds are real. He's not faking it. Okay. After Zoro does that, Loki, he passes out like if he's dying. And Zoro's like, if he's dead, then that's his fate. No, Zoro can. But I did like Zoro's recommendation saying, let's leave one sea stone around his leg, or around one of his legs, just in case he regains consciousness, because again, you can feel it emanating from Loki. Zoro felt it. He's like, yo, let's think about this. Man, what would Luffy do without Zoro? Like, seriously. But again, like I mentioned, this is the first time in a while that they felt like pirates, if not the first time, where they're not in hostile territory, but they're the ones being hostile, right? And they're saying, yo, we might be banished for this, right? Luffy's like, well, so be it. We're just gonna collect some meat and get out of here. And then Zoro's like, well, there's some meat over there. Luffy's like, no, not them. Those are my friends. So like, what meat is meat, right? It's like, no, once they're my friend, they're off limits. He's like, all right, whatever. What we going to? So I'm not gonna lie. I'm always here for the adventures of Zoro and Luffy, right? Hiruden and his boys with Sanji, by the way, they're on the way there. They're falling down. So Hiruden tries to use the island clouds, and apparently the buoyancy doesn't resist or doesn't work in the realm of the dead. So they're just free falling at this point. And so they're about to die. Funny enough, Luffy saves them, right? Luffy saves them so they don't die. But then they're immediately like, okay, Luffy, thank you for saving us. But you cannot release Loki, all right? You can't do it. He's a scumbag. He's a trickster. You can't trust him. Nothing he says is true. And I'm like, this is a bit excessive. Like, this feels like this kid was cursed from ever since he was born. And I'm like, do I believe in that he's like genuinely the accursed prince? Or is some of that a stigma that was placed on him? I genuinely don't know. I'm leaning towards Loki's side, for real, because this is just a One Piece thing where Luffy believes in him that much that Luffy's willing to be outlawed from Elbaf because of his beliefs. So it's like, I'm always ride with Luffy and his intuition, because Harold, he's not off the hook. Ja Rule, I don't believe you got a blade in your head from whom? So I still have questions. However, I don't think Hiruden is like all the way wrong. I don't think Loki's a good person, but I don't think he's as bad as people say. I think he's bad, but I don't think he's as bad as people say. I think he's filling that role because y'all wanted me to be. However, at the end of the chapter, we get one of the more menacing panels that we've gotten in a while. And it's Loki. Listen, Oda absolutely cooked with his design. Standing there. And it's just, bro, he can tell he's ready. He's been waiting. He's just been waiting to just be on one, right? And Zoro, right? Zoro says to them, I fear it's too late. And it says the accursed prince rises. And Howard didn't say, Loki, put Ragnar down. Loki has his hammer ready to go. Guys, I don't want to overstate this, but I think genuine. Next week is Showcase. Like I said with Scalper Showcase, this is a showcase. Now, we know. Shanks took Loki out. Not big of a deal because Shanks is top one. It's not a big deal. But this guy seems to be the real deal. I don't know what he's going to do, because here's the thing. He's ginormous. He's obviously overwhelmingly strong. He has seemingly an insane weapon, and we can't forget about the legendary devil fruit. Of course, with the sea stone cups, we probably don't see it, but something to worry about. Bro, I was shook. I mean, now I understand why Zoro was like, listen, all right, listen, because he's large, he's enormous. Imagine being the strongest giant, but also the biggest. He was like Harold, right? Say Harold was huge as well. Dog, this, I can't wait for next week. No break again. So we're good there. I think he's going to show out. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing, actually. Wow, what a great chapter. I wonder how Luffy's going to respond if things go awry. Is he going to be like, well, all's well that ends well? Or is he going to feel somewhat guilty? Or is it just like, this is the life of a free pirate? And for Elbaf, what do? Do they turn on Luffy? Right? Because for Hiruden, it's like he's still coming down trying to negotiate a bit, saying, yo, Luffy, please don't do this. It's not like, hey, we got to attack him. But he has a relationship. Those others don't really have that. So again, the piracy in this chapter was great. It feels like they were just doing whatever they wanted. Yonko things, man. That's how it felt with Luffy. And I don't mind it. Usopp, even how he was, felt like a pirate crew. And so next week we got to deal with the repercussions of that. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? Right? Pretty straightforward chapter, not too much, but developments, right? Developments. And we still, Shamrock and those guys, they're still here. So we got to, wait for them. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe. If you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. I genuinely appreciate that. Make sure to like the video. And patrons, thank you guys so much. You hold it down, you support. If you'd like to become a patron, link in the description down below. Be watching everything, so just check it out. But again, thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.